Hey everybody, this is Jeff Veale, the business guru, coming to you once again very late at night from downtown Manila. And I've got a lovely lady on the line from the other side of the world where they wear the big hats. She's from an area like Texas. And her name, an unusual one, I hope I get it right, is Debbie Saviano. And the founder of Debbie Saviano, she's a LinkedIn strategist. And company name, of course, Debbie Saviano. Been consulting, been in the industry for some 12 years, got a very good history, got a good background, which we'll tell you about shortly. She helps professionals, entrepreneurs, and small business owners build a strong presence on LinkedIn. And if you think LinkedIn is not important, guys, there are billions of people, not millions, billions of people on LinkedIn, and they're looking at your profile and they're judging you. Just like you judge a guy whether he's wearing a pair of shorts or a suit, same deal, right? So have a look at your LinkedIn profile. Have a look at some other people, compare them, and see the difference, and then reach out to someone like Debbie, and she's a master at fixing it all for you. Okay, so from profile optimization to strategy and content, I guide clients and show them online and get results. Key achievement, former high school principal, is where it all comes back to get us. Co-founder of Women's Leadership Live, founder of Debbie Saviano, speaker and LinkedIn guide creator, custom guides for realtors, speakers, financial industry, political leaders, musicians, and more. So she's done some of the rich and famous. Personal motto philosophy, relationships will always be the currency of business. How true is that? And we walk this journey but once. We have a responsibility to leave it better than when we entered. Not always easy. We can do our share, but everyone's got to help us. And interesting fact about herself, I moved, is that 30 times? Wow. 30 times growing up and attended just as many schools. No wonder you got a lot of knowledge. Unbelievable. So it's my great pleasure to welcome to the stage Debbie Saviano. How are you, Debbie?
I'm good. How are you?
Going good. In spite of my croaky voice, I've got a bad flu, but I'm still alive and well, and I'm drinking plenty of water, so I'll be good. Tell us about let's start off. Tell us about your career path and what inspired you after the principal business to pursue your current career path. How did that all come about?
So I was a principal, and I joked that you could retire early. You could then, but I retired from education, and this was 12 years ago. I knew I would need social media because it was just hitting the forefront, if you will. And so I decided to spend time learning social media. So I literally spent 2.5 years learning everything I could. I immersed myself in social media, not knowing what I was going to do with it, but God has a plan. And one day a guy reaches out to me on LinkedIn, messages me and says, "Can you do for me what you've done for you?" Because I wasn't doing LinkedIn the traditional way, if you would. I called on my educational background. I was how I did the copy, how I did the spacing, how I did everything was not the norm, and it was getting noticed. And so I said, oh my gosh, there's a niche here. So that's how I started doing LinkedIn profiles, redesigning them, because I didn't do them like everyone else. I did them differently because I was talking to the person who was reading it, their ideal client, if you will.
So you're flagging people down, basically.
Yeah, and so that's how I got to where I am today. And in the interim of that, I started a business with Linda McMahon and Stacy Shefflin, Women's Leadership Live, and we can talk about that later. But I, throughout all of this, I've always done social media. I love it. I think it's one of the biggest ways we can connect around the globe. All you have to do is have an internet connection, and the rest is history.
Yeah, I did. I go on to say that some of your best friends are on social media. They're better than what your real friends used to be in some cases.
That's true.
What's been the most challenging aspect of your work, Debbie, and how have you overcome that?
It kind of goes back to what you said before, Jeff. I love to learn. I love knowledge, and there's so much out there, right? And so
every day.
Exactly. You have to pull yourself back. And so the irony of that is my biggest challenge is what I help other people with, because like on social media, for example, you could live out there, but we all have other things we got to do, right? And so I show people how to strategize and use LinkedIn, which is what helped me in the same way, because that was a challenge. And so I use those strategies to be able to manage LinkedIn and other social media platforms I use. not getting sidetracked and staying on track. That would be it. And I think I'm in good company because I think we all face that to a certain extent because there's so much going on, right? It's so crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah, with all those rabbit holes too.
Exactly.
I use timers. I say, I'm going to start this project. I put a 30-minute timer on my phone and I go, hey, wake up. It's time to get off this project and go somewhere else.
The same thing. The same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. Tell us about an important moment in your career that pretty much changed your direction. Where was that aha moment?
It's so funny when someone asks certain questions, how your mind just literally goes back to that space, to that moment,
Sure.
if you will. I speak a lot on LinkedIn, and jokingly I say that's because of my age, which is true. People want
Yeah,
me to speak because I'm not the norm 30-year-old person. I was in Pennsylvania speaking on LinkedIn, and when I finished, people come up to talk to you, right? And this woman comes up, beautiful woman. My husband said she's from Texas because she's a gorgeous woman, and her name was Stacy Shefflin. And we connected, and she ended up hiring me to do her profile. She was on HSN, the shopping channel, with her beauty cosmetics company, YBF. And so she had me on her show. We became good friends, as women do. We
yeah.
decided we wanted to start a business empowering women. And so,
Lovely.
she introduced me to Linda McMahon. The three of us started Women's Leadership Live. But that pivotal moment of being in Pennsylvania on that stage talking, she was living in Florida at the time. I was living in Texas at the time. I'm speaking in Pennsylvania where she's at this event.
Yeah,
So that was very pivotal for me because it totally changed my life personally and professionally. Yeah, for
amazing.
sure.
There it is. And you recognize it. That's a wonderful opportunity. And they're like buses, guys. These opportunities are in front of you every day if you
100%
if you've got your eyes open.
100%.
In your opinion, what are the key qualities and skills that have helped contribute to your success all these years?
Um, well, I first would have to say education. I mean, everything
Yeah,
I do
sure.
goes back to my foundation with education. Pardon me. I wanted to go into education because I was one of those kids that moved all the time and I knew what that felt like.
Yeah,
I wanted to be principal because I knew or thought that I could be in charge of the building with the curriculum, etc. But education would be the first one for that because it's my foundation, if you will. And then also because I can understand curriculum and backward design, et cetera, that's a huge skill set for me that others don't bring to the table, just like how I design profiles, if you will. I also think my values of faith, I mean, everything, again, you hear the faith, family, freedom kind of thing, but that's true for me. I mean,
yeah,
everyone knows where I stand in my faith, and I respect anyone else's faith, but
sure.
that's a huge foundation for me. But being resilient, having the education background, my husband would say maybe a little bit stubborn, maybe, I don't know, but
No. Having
yeah,
spoke to you offline before we started, I'd say a big one for you too, and I think you'd agree, is empathy.
yeah.
You've got it in spades. You've got to have empathy. You've got to understand and listen to people. And so empathy is a big one, guys.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. That's huge.
Tell me, how do you stay motivated and continue to innovate in your field like you've been doing?
Well, it's because I do. I'm a lifelong learner, and there's so as you and I were talking about, there's so
Correct.
much out there to learn every day. My gosh, there's not enough hours in a day, and so I think that always learning, always challenging myself, always knowing that anything I learn, I can teach that to someone else to help them.
Mhm.
Again, we all know we have something in our background that's the impetus for us, but for me, it's education. Pardon me. I just so want to help other people. And I do that because I like to learn and I like to do all those articles and those webinars and those things like you and I are doing here today.
Yep.
Yeah, and being able to share
Lovely.
that.
Tell
Yeah.
us about a recent project or achievement you're particularly proud of, Debbie, amongst your
Um,
many.
that's an easy one because as I told you, and you mentioned I do LinkedIn redesigns, but I'm limited by that because I'm limited by the number of people I can do, right? It's a pretty intense project. Love doing it. I've met some incredible people around the world. However, there's also a whole bunch of people who want to do it themselves, which is what actually I prefer because then as they learn to do it, they can manage it as because it's not going to go away. It's only going to get more. So I've created guides, industry specific guides, whereby people can purchase the guide. They're anywhere from 50 to 60 pages long, digital downloads, and they can go through page by page. The old educator in me comes out. It is
Sure.
direction formatted, literally pictures and directions. Do
Yeah.
this, go here. And as I do those, I explain to them why they're doing it and how they
Yes.
can use that to better themselves in their positions and stuff. So those guides are huge for me. I mean, I've been working on them for some time. I think I've got 6 finished, and yeah, I'm very proud of them and
It
excited
would be.
for them.
It would be. How much do you charge for a guide, Debbie? I'm curious about that.
197. They're all the same
Yeah.
price. $197.
Guys,
Well, consider
$197. Think about it. God, what an investment. $197. If you're charging your average client, as you should be, a minimum of $1,000, God almighty, God, it's a no-brainer. Fix up your leg. Reach out to this lady. The phone will be ringing hot tomorrow, Debbie. You know, unbelievable.
Well, it's
cheap.
one of those. I wanted them to be able to do it themselves and to be able to understand why they're doing it.
Yes.
And like I said, they're industry specific. So if you're a realtor, if you're a speaker, or if you're whatever, they're industry specific.
Coach, yeah.
Not totally general, which is extremely
So
helpful.
have you picked out the what I call the main niches, Debbie, like you said? The real estate's a big one. Coaches and people like that's another big one.
Right.
That's what you've tried to do?
Well, I have a list of 30. And it's funny that I actually added one yesterday because someone had reached out to me about something. Yes, and I've got them prioritized as far as that, but you're right. The priorities of, like, I do a lot with realtors. I do a lot with speakers. I do a lot with coaches. I do a lot with people in the financial industry. And yes, so they're prioritized by that. And I'm,
You've got a wonderful niche, Debbie. You've landed on your feet. I'm a marketing guy, and I can tell you, you've got a not that you want to. You're just like me. You've got a passion, having fun with it, but you've got a multi-million-dollar business if you wanted it. You know. And
I hope from your mouth to God's ears.
Yeah, but no, but I think you're like me, Deb. I think you want to be Mrs. Big Enough. I don't think you want to own the world.
I just want to be able to pay the bills and help other people. The more money you make and the more opportunities you have to help someone else. And I think that's probably the biggest thing. And there's so many people who need so much help. I mean, let's face it. So, yeah.
That's right. And guys, invest in yourselves, guys. If you won't spend $197 on your mate, a pack of business cards costs you $197, guys. This is a permanent business card. That you can tweak whenever you want to. If something new happens, if you change your website, you change your phone number, you just go in there and tweak it, and Debbie will tell you how to do that.
Exactly.
Oh, mate, that's very amazing value. I'm impressed. Tell me, what advice would you give a 20-year-old version of you? What would you tell them?
Wow, that seems like eons ago.
A long time ago, wasn't it?
Exactly. We won't talk about age. Oh, wow. I think about that song, if I knew then what I know now kind of thing. It's interesting because my daddy just recently passed like 2 months ago. And he really, one of the things he taught me was go for what you want. And he has such an impact on my life growing up. And we moved because daddy was in Ballfields. And I think I would tell myself kind of what he taught me and what I followed. Be open to change. I love change. I love meeting new people. My daddy I could talk to anybody. We walk in somewhere and I don't care. It's a joke in the family, I never meet a stranger. So always being open to change, being willing to pivot when opportunities arise. If I hadn't, well, first of all, if Stacy hadn't come to speak to me, that was the first step. But if I hadn't been open to her, we wouldn't have then formed the company with Linda McMahon. The three of us wouldn't have done what we did. And we are still dear, dear friends today. So I think pivot when opportunities arise. And then the third one I say is be a lifelong learner. And again, when you reach my age and your age, we're at a certain point where we can look and say, yeah, those things helped me get here. And you want to share that with others. I mean, I try to do that with my granddaughters, right? You want to be able to share that.
And I tell people, I tell people we're only at base camp. We're not at the top of the mountain yet. We're still going. Right. You know that. We're still climbing. We're learning every day. And you're never going to conquer the peak, guys. I'll tell you now. You're never going to conquer it. But please keep trying. Keep trying. That's what it's all about, guys. Learn something. Think if you learn something new every day, let's just say 5 days a week. That's about 2,500 new things a year. You're so far ahead. There's so much out there. Absolutely. My girl's making, because I was a bit hungry, I shouldn't be eating at this time of night, just off the internet, we went in, how can we do caramelized banana pancakes, caramelized banana pancakes with ice cream. And after this, we're about to have that. That came off the internet. And guys, you may not know this, guys, you can take a photo of your fridge on the internet with Google, with ChatGPT, take a photo of your fridge and say, tell me some recipes I can make tonight. You don't even tell them what's in the fridge.
Right.
Tell me what recipes I can make, and it'll say, oh, you've got a chicken, you've got some butter, you've got tomatoes, you've got onion, you've got eggs. What you can do is make, and it gives you 4 or 5 recipes. How cool is that?
I just had a friend do that the other day. We were talking about that, and she did that because she wanted to know what to make for her son. He had a summer party, Margot, and so it's funny you said that because she did that.
Yeah.
And he gave her like 4 recipes of which she made one.
Yeah, amazing. And then we've got a plant that suddenly started dying, and we took a picture and said, "What's wrong with this plant?" And it said it needs a bigger pot. You know, it's getting a root ball and getting strangled. It needs a bigger pot. We didn't know that because we're not, botanists. We know now, and we'll fix it.
Yeah, you know now.
Yeah.
There's so much out there so much out there.
I love it. Tell me, looking ahead, what are your goals and aspirations for the future? What are you going to keep doing?
I'm going to keep doing what I do. Doing the guides will be a process for me because, like I told you, there's really 31 now. So I'll continue to do that. Continue to try and stay healthy. I think our health, as you and I talked about, is so important. And spend time with my family and friends. I mean, I think that's
what it's all about, isn't it?
It is what it's all about. Yeah, we walk this journey but once. Let's take advantage of it. Yeah, for sure.
No,
and meet new people like meeting you, Jeff. I've loved getting to talk with you.
Yeah, no. Well, you and I get it. So many people sadly don't. I know people seriously back in Australia. They've never left. They don't have a passport. They've never left the country. But more importantly, they've never left the state. They've never left their suburb.
Oh my gosh, I feel sorry.
But they're happy. Good luck to them. But God, what a waste! What a waste of a life.
Yeah, they don't know what they don't know. Yeah.
That's funny you say that one. That one cost me $20,000 because I hired a business coach in my 40s, and I didn't like the guy. He didn't like me either. We had a clash of egos, and the only thing I ever learned from that guy, and I'm grateful it was worth every penny, was you don't know what you don't know. It's my mantra.
That's true.
And I'm open-minded. I listen every day.
You have to be. That's why we learn, because you want to learn more. You want to do more.
That's right. You're not always right. I let the other guy talk first, and then I think, aha. Then I can come over the top and teach him something. Hopefully, or I can learn something. But no, I didn't know. Right. I can challenge him on it.
Sure.
We're about to wrap this up, but tell our listeners and people watching this wonderful podcast, what's the best way to connect with you and get some help on LinkedIn and get out there with a high profile? What's the best way?
So this is kind of a lesson in the answer. So the answer is I'm Debbie Saviano everywhere. Okay. All you got to do is see my name. It's there. All you got to do is look up Debbie Saviano. So anytime a new social media platform comes out, go in and grab your name, your handle. Yeah. I own Debbie Saviano in everything. You may not ever use it, but if it goes big and you want to use it, you've got the handle. Don't wait. Don't think, oh, I'll never do that. Grab the handle and use it. So LinkedIn is my playground. I'd love people to connect with me there. But anywhere, any of those platforms, Debbie Saviano is how you find me.
Awesome. And before we wrap it up, tell us a fun fact about yourself. You and I have had a good chat about life. Tell me a fun fact about yourself that most people don't know.
Well, that's the irony. People pretty much know everything about me because I'm so open. You and I were joking about this. Sometimes when people I've been very fortunate to speak a lot. I think I've spoken in 7 countries on LinkedIn. Wow. And the traditional bio, sometimes people want something different. So I came up with something called 4 truths and a fib. And so I'll give them 4 truths and then 1 fib. Yeah. And some people don't know this. Because of LinkedIn, you can meet anybody and everybody. There's no gatekeepers. Thank you, Chris Brogan, who wrote we don't have gatekeepers. You can get to anybody, right? Yeah. And I reached out to a guy to connect with him. We connected. And I found out that he's one of the 3 men that own the helium rights on the moon. Wow. Who knew? I didn't even know you can own the helium rights. But the people you can meet on LinkedIn is crazy. And sometimes people just don't think about that aspect of it, reaching out to. I would say 75 to 80% of the people that I reach out to, and I'm very selective with that, if you will, connect back.
Respond.
He was and the things I've learned from him, oh my gosh, he's got so many patents, it's crazy. He's very, very
funny you should say that, because when I was a kid, probably in my teens, I think, I used to tell people I can meet anyone I want. And they said, no, that's not. I said, I said to them, they're human beings. Reach out. The worst I can say is no.
That's right. 50-50 chance. We connect so much, Jeff, because people who know me would say, Debbie can't meet anybody. If I'm somewhere and there's somebody there and I want to meet them, I'm going to meet them.
Yeah,
I
that's
have to
right.
be creative sometimes in how I do that. I was in a Marriott hotel one time and I saw this older gentleman with his security team. I immediately recognized him as Mr. Marriott Hotels. And
Wow.
I had been reading his blog. I think he was like 80 something at the time. I walk up and I say, the security guy, would you mind if I said hello to Mr. Marriott? I said, I read his blog. Well, he heard me. He
Right,
steps, he
generally.
turns around and he goes, you read my blog? I said, I do. He got up. We had a 15-minute conversations, pictures, etc. Most people may not have even known who he was, wouldn't have walked up to him.
Of course.
But he was so thrilled because someone, now, did he write the blog? Probably not, but he was very involved in it because he
Of
knew
course. Yeah,
I
that's
said
right.
blog, So yeah, there's so many
Well,
great people out there. Why
yeah,
not go up and
I'll tell you a couple of quick ones about me. What I do every now and again, I'll stop and I'll chat to a homeless person. I'll be on the street begging, and I'll find out why they're on the street. What's the backstory, and I'll give them $10 or $20 to keep them going, and hope that they're genuine about it. I'm not going to give it to them for alcohol. I used to go and buy them food. In fact, that's one thing. And the other thing I do now, my eyes are deteriorating, but what I do now, I'm an avid reader. I read a lot of books, mainly business books, and fun ones. I try to get fun ones that are easy to read. And what I do, I look around the coffee shop and make sure no one's watching, and I leave that book on the table. I finish with it. I've learnt my lesson. I leave it there for someone else to find the book and get the lesson.
That is so nice, Jeff. I might have to remember that. That's a cool one. I talk to homeless people too, and I've even taken them to restaurants and bought them meals.
Yeah,
They have some fascinating stories.
absolutely.
And sometimes it's nothing what people would ever assume.
Yeah, and funny enough, sometimes they just need encouragement, and you can sometimes be that one that flicks the switch back on.
Right. Well, some of the ones I talked to who were highly intelligent, they chose that life. They wanted to live on the street. They wanted the freedom. To me, it sounded absurd, but they were very happy. I mean, they knew where to go get their food and et cetera, et cetera. It was in San Francisco. I'll never forget a guy I was talking to.
Who's to say that the monks that live up in the mountains was just an orange robe? Who's to say they're wrong?
That's right.
They
might be onto something. A lot less stress out there for sure.
Very quickly, too, on this one. In the Philippines, I see people with one leg or no legs and people sleeping on cardboard. And during the day, they're as happy, they're smiling. I see people in America with 4 TVs and they're worried that one of their TVs broke. And they're stressed because one of their 4 TVs broke.
But you know what the answer, what the key is there, Jeff? You've traveled and seen those people. People who have never been out of their sphere, their circle, their bubble, and they don't know how people live, they can't appreciate it. I've been to India. I see where they don't have any water, even for a simple thing. So when I take a shower, I say, thank you, Lord, for the water.
Absolutely.
And the services. But if you've never traveled and seen those situations, in fairness, you don't even know. You don't know what you don't know.
That's the one. All right. You've been an awesome guest, Debbie. Thanks for being on the show today. And guys, if you want your 15 minutes of fame, just like Debbie, please reach out, subscribe to his channel. There's some interesting people. We're up to over 300 episodes now and some great people. But more importantly, let's make it 301. Let's get you on the show and find out your story. Once again, Debbie, thank you for being on the show. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Humble Jeff. Thank you so much.